this is simply a body of information that I want to present to you today through these particular gem elixirs, where you can see, oh, there's different ways that I can get support from the earth, from these minerals that'll help me in a lot of different ways. Um, I want to give you a little bit of sort of general information. Um, I want to give you some general information on what gem elixirs are. Some of you um, are new to this vibrational essence field, and maybe some of you who aren't new been using the flower essences, but not the gem elixirs. So I want to sort of lay down a basis of understanding for the gems. As you saw in that beginning picture, which was taken by a friend in Brazil during a class we had there some years ago, and that was malachite in the bowl. Um, the gem elixirs are made in a very, very similar way to flower essences. It's a sun infusion process. A particular gem is placed in the bowl. The bowl is filled up with pure water, and the bowl is set in a place where it'll receive sun for the whole time. And the energy of that particular stone is then imprinted on the water, and the active ingredient, the force that imprints that is uh, coming from two places. One, of course, is the sun, and the other one is the space that the person or the people are holding that are making uh, the essence. So it's a very simple process, but it's very amazing what happens during that process, that you're picking up uh, the full uh, healing qualities of that gem in the water. And then, of course, we take that water and we preserve it and dilute it. And so, what if you were to buy a bottle of gem elixir, you've got a slightly diluted um, formula. It's not, we're not selling another essence, but the stock, and then you can use that stock to uh, make dosage bottles or use it internally or externally. Yeah, this is a good question from Margaret. When we first started making gem essences, we debated on whether to call them gem essences or gem elixirs. There's really no difference between the two. I chose elixir. It felt better at the time. You can use those two terms interchangeably. So we have gem elixirs. I may refer to them as gem essences, but I don't do that to confuse anybody. Um, so again, for those of you that are wondering how gem elixir is made, very similar to a flower essence, and how they're working is different. And I want to point this out for several different reasons. People who are used to using flower essences and have used them for quite a long time actually may have a greater need for gem elixirs than someone who has never taken a vibrational remedy at all. And I'll explain more about that as we go. But again, the main thing we're calling on the gems, we're calling on the mineral kingdom for, is to stabilize our energy field, what we call the subtle anatomy, which is the chakras and the subtle bodies, and to also, in having more stability there, to stabilize the physical body. And whatever is out on the subtle layers will be reflected in have an imbalance on the physical level. So the primary way of using gem elixirs is simply to find out where that imbalance is, and in many cases it will be on a subtle level. And then they can go to that level and correct it there, and then the symptom or whatever you're noticing then disappears in the physical. So we're very much working in the physical body by virtue of the non-physical body. You don't really have to have an understanding of chakras or subtle bodies for these things to work or to have a relationship with them. If you are interested or you do have a basis of understanding there, then that's great because then you can get a little bit more fine-tuned in your work. But I like to stress that one of the main things, we just want to take one basic concept away from this presentation today. It's that it's a relationship of stress and tension to health. And so what we want to do is release stress. And we're releasing stress from yesterday, from last week, from our childhood, and from any other lifetime or any other way you look at it. Some people say, I don't believe in past lives, but I do believe that we're connected into our ancestors. However you look at this, there is some stress that's picked up that hasn't started in this lifetime. That's my belief anyway. So we're asking the gems to come in and release that stress and tension that's accumulated. And in doing, they're really good at this. That's what they specialize in. And they'll go to the place where the stress is held and catalyze the release of it. In many cases, it'll be very quick. It'll go very fast. You'll just notice some different alignment in your body that you've gone from a more stressful posture to a less stressful posture. Now, this is all based on a very important concept, which is sort of the basis in my understanding of all healing and vibrations, and that's that our systems, any aspect and all aspects of our systems, are constantly seeking balance. And so when you introduce a gem elixir or flower essence or whatever, and it gives some strength and some support to reach that new place of balance, the entire system goes along with it. It's always wanting to go towards alignment and balance. So this is really good. So we're simply, with some precision, introducing uh, these mineral vibrations into our field, and they're saying, okay, well, here's some stress, and I can help you with that. Uh, Again, we don't have to worry about what happens after the release of the stress. It's a somewhat automatic process that the physical body knows. It has this knowing, and it's saying, okay, I know what balance looks like. I just couldn't get there. Now I have this help from this particular gem or flower. I can get there more easily. Now, if you carry this out, using these things over a period of time and continuing this process, you can actually build resistance to stress into your physical body and into your energy field. So this is pretty great. So in other words, you can do things uh, that used to stress you out, and you can do those things more often, and they don't stress you out as much or not at all. A good example is flying internationally. It used to be tremendously stressful for me. Using the gems and other essences that we had, the gems helped me deal with that stress so that I actually started to enjoy flying, which was a big part of my job. So again, if you have any questions uh, about the material that I'm offering, go ahead and type them in, and we'll be perusing that. And if one really jumps out, then I'll answer it right away. Um, Now, why are gem elixirs so important at this time? Kind of already touched on that, but here it is in the written word. Um, we want to have this relationship with the mineral kingdom, which is the mineral kingdom is very present. It's there waiting for us. So operators are standing by, as they say. Um, we want to, I mean, the average person is going to be approaching this and saying, well, you know, I've been really taking care of myself on certain levels, but on other levels, when some of these things happen with the economy, it really throws me out of alignment. And so that person or people like that may want to approach this whole idea and say, okay, well, I need to, uh, I'm realizing that my energy field is a bit out of alignment, or I've had physical alignment issues perhaps, and I want to do something about that. Um, and so I'll start to use the gems to, just start where I am and work, just work with uh, again, the main stress and tension that I have. And so you might be starting with something uh, more present, more present time. Then, as you start to, and the great thing is, once you take care of the most impactful piece of tension or stress, your body does this reorganization, and then it gets easier from that point on. So you can uh, make these adjustments. Each adjustment gets easier and easier and easier. So you get to a point then where, okay, this really strange thing happened in my family, or this sort of shocking thing happened in society, uh, and it resonates on some level. You can be perhaps more heart-centered around it, more compassionate around it, and not thrown off and thrown out of your alignment. So that's the whole idea. So wherever you're starting, in any case, the gems can help you to get more grounded and maintain that grounding and not lose it. And they're capable of helping any aspect of that. So there's really nothing that they can't help because it's the mineral kingdom. For some of us, they can be used to repair areas that uh, have been damaged or traumatized, and some trauma actually creates the damage. So we talk about integrity. So how much integrity does the energy field have? Um, that's a really good question. So it can always have more integrity. Gems can help us with that. But in the beginning, it's to repair those damaged areas. And by damage, I just mean a perforation or a leak where energy is coming out. We want to have restoring the integrity, and so our energy is not just flowing out, but it's building up and building up and building up. As we attend to the integrity, we find that we have more energy. This is really great because a lot of people are finding that, yeah, I'm dealing with things okay, but I'm really tired a lot. So uh, using gem elixirs, doing repair work, increasing your capacity to receive energy from the earth and circulate it more efficiently throughout your body, um, then you're going to have more energy. And this all can be summarized to the last point here, and that's they help us integrate change at the deepest level. So things are changing constantly. Um, what we want to do is be able to uh, initiate and pursue and facilitate positive changes in our lives and around us, and as we get stronger in our own ability to change in a positive way, then that becomes a global phenomenon. So depending on where you're coming into this, uh, most people have a bit of integration to do before they really feel like they're able to stay present with all of the craziness that's going on in the world. So to be able to integrate on the fly, which means I don't have to just stop and meditate for 6 hours a day. I mean, that's great if you want to, but I can integrate as I'm taking care of my responsibilities, as I'm going to work, as I'm taking care of the kids. The gem elixirs can help you integrate in the background, if you will, and say, okay, well, I feel a lot more complete with these things that have happened in the past, and I can approach things in the present, and therefore integrate them more quickly as well. So the difference between having gems around, um, carrying stones around in your pocket, which I do all the time, having stones in the house, which we have a bunch. What's the difference between that and taking gem elixirs? Thank you so much for asking that question. Um, of course, a given stone has qualities, and those are going to be uh, consistent whether you're taking a gem elixir or or holding that stone or doing some sort of meditation with it, or whatever. The difference is that the Alaskan Gem Elixirs were made in a very powerful environment in Alaska, and Jane Bell, who a colleague of mine, a dear friend who made the initial 48 gem elixirs with me and helped to research them and get them out into the world, uh, jokes that we set up a travel agency for the gems. So we would tune in and ask them, where do you want to be made? Because we wanted to pick a particular environment in Alaska that would be very supportive of the particular vibration of that stone. And so we found out, for instance, black tourmaline wanted to be made next to a glacier. And so we've done that every time we've made it. It's been next to a glacier. Some stones wanted to be made out in fields, some wanted to be made next to water, and so on. So you have the main energy of the stone surrounded by the Alaskan environment, the very intact elemental energy in the Alaskan environment. And that elemental energy enables the uh, healing qualities of the stone to be delivered to the person's energy field in a very clean and powerful way. And we found that it's easier for people to integrate gem elixirs for that reason, Alaskan gem elixirs for that reason, because it's being delivered with this perfectly balanced air, earth, fire, and water package surrounding it.